Hey guys, welcome back. Ranqeust here, bringing you episode number 6 of Building and Beyond. So I've done a little bit of work here, as you can kind of see. I've started to build out our main entrance. If you remember from the previous episode, well, 2 episodes ago, episode number 4, I showed you that beginning stage of our front entrance. So here it is. The first archway. I've got the other 2 archways plotted out, and it's gonna go from there. From the looks of the size, based off of our area, we are going to have to cut into the top of the ravine, which you can see a little glimpse of something I've done as well. We're going to actually cut into it a little bit, which is okay. I wanted to actually cap a lot of this ravine off. Not all of it, but for the most part, a good majority of it so that we could get some good roofing structures in here. So uh, I've been pretty much farming. I did go out and collect some darkwood, like I said I was going to, and I started a less um, structured tree farm. And the reason why I did this without a ceiling on the darkwood is because the darkwood doesn't actually grow into mega wild trees like the oak wood does, and that goes the same for the birchwood and the junglewood as well. So it's a lot more uniform. You don't have to go climbing through the leaves to get to all the random pieces like you would in the oak wood. So that's why that's like that. I also added chickens to our little mini animal staging house, and this is just preliminary. Once we get our city going, I am going to migrate a lot of those plus some down into the depths of our ravine village. So let's take a further look down into what has happened. And mind you, well, again, this is just the first stages of the ravine village. A lot of this is going to change. This stairway down in is definitely going to change. So here it is, and it's not perfect. I understand that. There are a couple things that I want to do. I want to um, well, I'll get into it in a second. So what I've done here is to match what I showed you in episode 4, or actually, no, last episode. In the last episode with the road, if you remember, we just had a flat, straight walkway in our creative world. But that's not going to work for this ravine. No ravine that I've seen has had just a straight shot through uh, any sort of terrain. And, that goes to say, unless it was a man-made ravine, which is not worthwhile, you're not going to find one either. So what we needed to do is we needed to have our walkway curve along with the ravine. And so what I've done is I have started to carve out a good chunk of this. Now, for the most part, I had 5 spaces, at least starting from the beginning, um, where I had my dirt path. Now, another thing you notice here is I do not have the little waterway in the middle, and that may come in maybe somewhere down further. I may not have it going through the whole thing, but from what you see here, this is the preliminary. So, like I said, I started with the 5 in the middle, and I've carved out 5 on either side, going down just as far as you can see down there. And I've also extended a little bit of a dirt path so that I can get the dirt traveling all the way up here. Now, what I was going to get at earlier was this path kind of curves and winds. But if you're looking at it right now, it just kind of angles for right now. And that is, again, just something to get something down so we can get a good basis for it. What I'm going to want to do is I'm going to try to carve this ravine a little bit more to get it a more rounded shape. And that may be cutting a couple more rows in on this side and shaving in a couple more on this side. So um, that's where the road is taking. And I think also another thing that I want to implement is somewhere around here, or maybe a little bit further in, I do want to add like a little mini pond area with a bridge over. I think that'll look really nice, especially if we're going to go thematically. This is going to be the more touristy area. So, all the outsiders that are not part of this ravine city, this is as far as they're really going to see. They're not going to go into the more production-based areas. So, your blacksmith zones and your mining areas. That's just, that's the dirt and grime of the city. They're going to see this beautiful area that's filled with trees and something that they're more used to on the outside world. So, adding little pieces like ponds and bridges and little mini waterfalls, those will all add to the look and feel of their touristy, if you will, commerce area. And another thing that I was thinking of is I do want to kind of make this like a mall where you're going to have little shops inlaid in and out through this portion of the ravine. Now, another thing too, based off of touristy areas, what else are we going to have? So people are going to come from far and wide to come to this ravine area so that they can shop. Now, the people coming from extremely far away, they're not going to want to just spend a day trip. There's some that might, but for the most part, we're going to need some hotel areas, so some smaller living, which is really nice. Now, a big portion of this build is I want it to be as functional as possible. And of course, starting off, it's not going to be able to 100% be that way. We're going to have to meet a lot of the needs of us as builders before we can make the place 100% functional. But once it's all said and done, each section of this city is going to be similar to the way you would find a real city in say, America or Europe, where you're going to have different sections providing different areas or different purposes throughout the city. And so this being the commerce area, it's going to be touristy. There's going to be beautiful things. Then you got different production areas that people may not want to go to, but they are all functional in their own right. So with that being said, this is not going to be a building episode because we still have one other thing to do in the Nether. We have yet to find our source of Netherwart. And again, that's very important to us because we're going to want to be able to use potions and be able to do all sorts of fun things. Because, a potion shop may very well be one of the shops, or many of the shops that we have in our city. So we do need to go back into the Nether. I have started to stock up on our supplies. So I've created a new iron pickaxe and a new sword and a new shovel. And one thing I did last time as far as our enchant was I played heavily into enchanting our pickaxe, but we don't want to do that because the pickaxes, as I noticed in the Nether, when you're going through all that netherrack, go extremely quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put the majority of my enchant points, probably about 20 or so, into our sword. So hopefully we can get something, maybe a looting, maybe some knockback, but a good multi-tiered sword. So I'm going to get my inventory all settled, and I will see you over at the enchanting table. Alright guys, welcome back. So, we are at the enchanting table. Now, as far as our configuration for the bookshelves, The closest I could get to evening out our enchant was a level 22. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put a level 22 enchant on our sword and a level 1 enchant on our shovel, because the iron pickaxe we're going to go through like wildfire. So here we go. We're going to do maybe a couple random choices. See if we can get a lucky number 7. Oh yes, 7 in there. And 22. Oh, son of a gun. Well, that probably is one of the worst swords I have ever seen, especially for a level 22 enchant. That is not going to help us whatsoever in the Nether, but you take what you get. So, let's throw back these torches here, get a level 1 enchant going. Boom, efficiency 1. That'll do us. Alright, so we are going to head back into the Nether, where we will continue the search for that elusive Netherwart. Alright, so one thing I did start to do is I did start to clean up the place a little bit. I added what little nether brick we had from our first fortress in as flooring. Now these are all half slabs, as you can see with the chests being up in the air, and that was just more for distance coverage. So with just the regular nether blocks, I was able to only get to about maybe right here. Right. Hello. Oh yeah, half slabs. So about right here with the bricks, but with switching them into half slabs, I got definitely a lot more bang for my buck. So as you can see, we got a little bit further with our melon farm. One melon did pop up in the little time I spent in here after our episode, and I was able to further it down. I'm missing just one more. So the one downside to having multiple dimensions and working on different areas is when you're in the Nether, then nothing actually happens in the overworld, and vice versa. So if I'm in the overworld working, nothing's going to actually progress in the Nether because there will be no chunks loaded. So we will have to work with that. But I did bring over some more cobblestone in case I wanted to wall up some more areas, but we're going to leave that here for now. We're not going to worry about that. So, again, our last episode, we got a little bit of quartz, we got some good glowstone, we got a magma cream and some blaze rods, and we got our wither skeleton skull. So, we definitely made a good haul, but we didn't get everything we wanted. So, let's head out. We've got everything we need. The water's not going to do us any good. And we'll leave that flint and steel. Might as well. Or a bow out there. So, let's venture out. Now, I want to go... We went that way for the first Nether fortress, but I want to go in a different direction. So, we're going to head this way. There is some lava that we're going to have to skirt around. But I think that it's a good direction to take. So, here we go. Yeah, that's a lot of lava. So let's dig around. Now, one thing I failed to mention in the last episode was the... Ooh, oh, there you are. Bad guy. I do have arrows this time. Not many, but maybe we can get lucky. Aha! Take that arrow and die. Well, he did do our job a little bit for us. Anyways. So, one thing I didn't mention from the last episode is a couple changes that they made to the Nether, which I think are absolutely great. We know about the quartz change, where they added quartz into the game, which I think is fantastic. Quartz has such a great look, And the fact that they add it to the Nether makes it that much more fun to play the game, because in previous iterations of the game, there wasn't really much to do in the Nether. I mean, there was your fortresses, and you had to come into the Nether to get a blaze rod so that you could get to the end, and there was a certain amount of things to do in the Nether. But once you got there, unless you were building out of Nether brick, once you finished everything over here, coming into the Nether really wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, you lost interest in it, but with the introduction of quartz, they kind of revitalized the Nether and made it so that, other than building in your dark colors, you're going to want to come in here, dig around, explore, and find all this beautiful quartz. Now, another function... Ooh, get away, get away, get away, get away. One other thing, too, with lava in the Nether acts as water does in the overworld. So it spreads 8 blocks, and it flows a lot faster, so you have to be on your toes when you're coming in here. And it's extremely dangerous, because clearly lava hurts. So one thing that they added was they changed Nether brick. And I mean, they didn't change it as far as the block itself, but the only way previous to get Nether brick was to find a fortress and pretty much just pick it clean. Break it down into nothing, and then you got what you got, and then that was it. Now, there's in theory an infinite amount of Nether fortresses that can spawn, and procedurally generated Nether, but that just takes a lot of time. So what they did was they added a crafting recipe with say netherrack, and what you can do is you can smelt down the netherrack just like you would smelt down iron or clay, and you get nether brick or netherrack, or nether bricks, which from there you can take your nether bricks and craft them into a nether brick blocks. And what that opens up to is that takes away the fear of using too much of the nether brick blocks to use things for things like stairs and fences, which previously, if you're working with a finite amount of nether brick, you want to craft those sparingly. But the fact that we can craft and make the nether brick blocks using netherrack, that gives us a lot more opportunity to craft with those blocks. So we're getting into some new generation here. Let's see. It's definitely, I mean, I do like the way the Nether tends to flow. You have all these different archways and overpasses and underpasses, and you've got the lava, which gives off a nice glow. As dangerous as it is, it's definitely a beautiful place to work in. And two, you can get some really large builds in here with the amount of open space that's offered. So the Nether is definitely an interesting place, but you get those rotten creatures, the Ghasts, and they actually spawn in a 5x5x5 area. So as much as building large in the Nether is definitely an awesome plan, it kind of puts a damper on especially what kind of blocks you can use, because if you wanted to do, say, something in sandstone, you're kind of limited because the gas can blow it up with their shot. So oh, no, get out of here. Oh yes, there it is. Take that, Ghast. Eat your own spit. Anyways, so actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a torch right out here. So when we come back, we're going to know that we're going to go that way, because I definitely do not want to get lost in the Nether, especially if we're running out of food or low on food, because that could be extremely dangerous. So the search goes onward. Oh! 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 Take it. Nope, nope. Ow! Come on, come on! Damn it. Ooh, oh, you got that just by the tips of your tentacles. Oh, so close. Come on, I can get him. I can get you. I'll get you. Can I just hit you with my sword? Yes! Death. Now, when you kill a ghast, it will drop some gunpowder, and it will also drop a ghast tear. And ghast tears are good for regeneration potions, which is, again, something that we need some netherwort for. And what I will do eventually, when we get our netherwort, is I will go through a whole tutorial type video, going in through as many, well, some of the more important potions, at least in my opinion, and we will go into how to craft those later. But it's a little bit difficult to go through that unless you actually have all that set up. So nothing. Throw up another torch, and we are out of torches, so I'm gonna make some more. Hey, little buddy. Die. Die. You cheap. Come on, I know something is around here. You down there? No. What's up there? I see a little opening. Let's block this lava off, because we don't want any part of that. And take a look. Shut up. We got some higher ground, little baby. I do think it's interesting how they added the zombie pigman babies. Now, what's neat about it is if you look at the adults, you've got these pigmen, but they've got half of their face shredded off, or melted, or whatever happened to them. Die. Die, die, die. Nothing. But with the little baby pigs, let's go back and take a look. We should be eating on the way too. With the little baby pigs, they don't have anything on their face. Put out the fire. Yeah, they're just all skull. Very funny. Alright. Let's keep looking. I don't think that we are actually gonna find one all the way up here. I think we're gonna have to go down maybe a level or two as far as the height goes. And before I go down there, I'm just gonna throw up another torch. Get it up high, right there. Maybe collect some of these mushrooms, just in case we run low on food. So I've got 8 grays. Oh yes, and my pickaxe broke. Let's get to fixing that situation. Oh, where could this fortress be? Oh, where could you go? I think that we can make that drop without hurting too bad. There we go. Crap. Let's throw up a pillar real quick. There. Just so we can remember that we had to go up. So, this trip is taking a lot longer than I thought it was. I'm actually gonna put a cut in the recording here, and hopefully I can search around, and if I come across a fortress, I will turn the camera back on, and we will be able to navigate that through here. So I will be back as soon as I can, which for you guys will be in a couple seconds. Alright, bye-byes. Hey guys, alright, I'm back. So I think it took me about an hour, but finally, after going off more in that direction, curving around the lava pool, I came around to a familiar area. And I had actually encircled myself all the way back to our original base. So I decided, you know what, going in that direction was a bad idea. Let's try going in the other direction. And that seems to have paid off because we've got ourselves another fortress. Okay, so this is good. This is great. It looks like we've got quite a big one. Hopefully, anyways. So now I am pretty happy that we by chance circled around and found our own base, because I was able to replenish a little on the iron, drop off some of our goodies like our found quartz and glowstone, and that definitely helped out. So we're gonna try to blitz through this fortress. Ooh, stairs. I like stairs. As fast as we can. Maybe we'll get some... Ooh, a little chest. Cool. Diamond horse armor. Well, that is nice. I have yet to actually find that anywhere. So, that is a beautiful sight to see. I'm going to take that chest too. Let's try to blitz through this, this fortress, because I want to find some Netherwart. Not that way. Ooh, another chest. Take a look. Some iron, some gold. I like it. Take the chest. We're also running a little bit long in the episode, so I want to make sure that I can get some Netherwart for you guys. Already though, this fortress is looking very promising. There's a lot more hallway style areas versus the ramps that we saw in the previous episode, so I should probably be marking where I go to, because this is kind of taking away from our objective here. No. Alright, so I'm going to start marking off some of the explored areas. I'm not 100% sure about that way, and we definitely saw that way. So, block that off. And that's a dead end. So this entire area is a bust, but that's okay. Let's look behind here real quick. Maybe there's another hallway behind it. Nope. Okay. Up we go. Let's block that off. Hey, here we are. Alright guys, now this is it. We've got some Netherwart. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this side of the Netherwart and I'm gonna leave, ooh, double. Beautiful. So in that case, I'm gonna take this whole section of Netherwart and I'm gonna leave that back section, because you know, you never know what's gonna happen on a trip in the Nether. We could fall off a cliff and burn to death. We could get killed by a ghast. So you do not want to be traveling with all of the Netherwart that you own. Now, something that I can show off real quick here is Netherwart does grow in stages. So you've got the planted stage, a little bit more, until you've got your maximum stage here, and each stage will give you a little bit more Netherwart than the last. So you have up to a chance to get 4 Netherwart. This is very nice. This is actually a really nice fortress, but you have up to a chance of getting 4 Netherwart per plant if you wait long enough. So it is always a good idea to let it grow to its maximum potential. One nice thing though that they added was it used to be that Netherwart only grew in... That's scary. It used to be that Netherwart only grew in the Nether, but they did change that so that you can have your Netherwart farms outside of the Nether, which is definitely nice. So we can have some farms in our overworld, and we can have some farms in our underworld or in our Nether, and be able to grow for twice the potential. So that is a great thing. So I'm going to head on back. I will cut the video again here, and we can do a recap. I will actually plant some Netherwart while we do that in our overworld, but we can do a recap on the other side. Alright guys, I'll see you in a second. And we're back. Okay, so I wanted to do a quick recap on everything we accomplished today, which is quite a bit actually. So we finally got our Netherwart, which is awesome. I'm so pumped about this. What else did we get? So let's look in our chest of goodies. So we've got some more gold, which is great. We got this much nether quartz, which is fantastic. That's all new. Well, maybe by a couple pieces not. But we got a golden sword. We've got 2 more chests, 20 more glowstone, which is fantastic. Some more nether brick, which I added to our walkway. We got some iron horse armor and some diamond horse armor, which is awesome in itself. So yeah, I mean this is awesome. This is exactly why we came to Nether, and I'm glad it only took us 2 episodes because I was willing to go the distance regardless of how long it took. So let's take a quick peek. I'm gonna head back over into the overworld, and let's set up a little farm. So it is just daytime, which is excellent. And we're going to expand our farm just a little bit, just so that we can get our Netherwart. We've got 11 soul sand, so we can plant 11 Netherwart for now. And I'll go back in the Nether. I'll collect some more soul sand. This is just a little showing of how this works. So I'm going to dig out this little section of earth because it does not need water to grow. Oops. 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, so let's throw the soul sand down, and we've got our Netherwart, and as you can see, there we go. We've got our little Netherwart buds growing, and we actually have some leftovers, so that next episode we can set up our brewing stand and make some potions. But we are going to need to we're going to get some more work done on this path here. I'm going to carve some more out. We're going to get some building back so we can start working on this archway. And once this path down here is done, and we have a kind of setup getting down, I do want to relocate a lot of these farms. I want to find a solid home from them down in the marketplace, so that we can set up some larger farms. These farms, again, they do the job, but they just don't cut it as far as mass quantities. We're producing enough food for us to eat, so that we can last, while we need it. But I want to get to the point where we don't have to worry about food. It's not really something that, if for say we were to die and we'd lose our whole stack of carrots, that'd be the last of our carrots. So I do have a build that I like to use for my farms, and so but that's probably a couple episodes down the road. So next time, guys, we are going to explore some brewing. We are going to I should have a lot more of this carved out, and I'm going to work with you guys. I'm going to build some of this archway with you, and maybe even set up a bridge, because this one strip path of cobblestone is not going to cut it. We're going to want to have a nice bridge over the ravine, maybe something to look down in for those tourists, and that's going to tie in this road here, and yeah. So anyways, guys, until next time, thanks for watching. If you liked the episode, please leave a like, give a comment. It'll definitely help my channel grow, and it'll show that you really appreciate what we're doing here. So again, until next time, see you later, guys. Bye.